You know, I'm a big fan of the movie category that's kind of formed over the years of ones that pick a hobby or sport that most people would find uninteresting to focus a full movie on, and then just make a movie about it anyway. Usually it's not blatantly focusing on the topic itself, but it is brimming with themes and messages that these activities are used as vessels to explain the story. My personal favourite example of this, of course, is Whiplash, one of my favourite movies and in my opinion one of the best movies ever made. Drumming doesn't seem like something that can be made entertaining or captivating for the full runtime of a movie, unless of course, Roderick Heffley is the one drumming. Yet, it absolutely fucking is. Using it to highlight stress and overexertion and how that can take a toll on people trying to meet ludicrously high expectations of them set by unsympathetic abusers is just perfect. Seriously, everyone should watch Whiplash. Challenges is another great example. A tennis movie that isn't really about tennis, but uses it to tell a fucking good narrative about relationships, fame, success, and plenty more. Plus, Josh O'Connor is in it, and it's probably why Daniel Craig selected him for Wake Up Dead Man. Thank you, Luca, for indirectly contributing to giving me another silly little meta mystery. And for the best cinematography of 2024, I guess, I don't know. That's why, when I saw Timothée Chalamet, notorious quirked-up white boy who was rising the ranks repeatedly until he starred in Wonka and Dune 2 in the same year, and then a complete unknown a month after that year ended, and if you hate Wonka, you hate fun. If you hate Dune 2, never cook again. In a trailer about an A24 movie based on a real guy from history hell-bent on becoming the best professional table tennis player in the world. I was a little wary because at face value I was asking myself, why should I see this? I don't care about table tennis. But the rest of my brain knew, because it answered that question with a question. How are they going to make me care about table tennis? And after learning Timothy was training for months with a table tennis table on every set, I mean that kind of commitment gotta be rewarded. Although I wasn't fully on board with the Christmas Day release date because I was not getting my ass off that couch after eating all the food in the house to go to the movies. Not even for potential peak. I am not that kind of cinephile. Anyway, Marty Supreme takes us back to 1952, and while it follows around the globe, we first meet protagonist Marty Supreme, or rather Marty Mauser, played by Timothée Chalamet, an already prevalent New York City-based table tennis player who works at his uncle's shoe store as a day job, carefully making sure he doesn't find out about his habit of quickies during company time. That's my retail worker. Stick it to the man, and ergo capitalism. Marty is based on real-life tennis player Marty Reisman, who, fun fact, once went up to a bookie at a table tennis game and attempted to place a $500 bet on himself to win. Then he found out that he wasn't a bookie and was instead a cop, getting arrested on the spot. Already, you never see that happening in football. Marty's canoodling companion is Rachel Nissen, played by Odessa Azian, a childhood friend, at least I think so. Marty kinda lies out of his ass throughout the entire movie, who works at a local pet store, and she clearly supports him during his table tennis ventures. Remember guys, table tennis, not ping pong. Of course, every time he talks about it, people think he's insane. I mean, who's ever heard of professional table tennis? And this is a very relatable topic to me, because I get the same bewildered, disapproving looks and immediate write-offs from anyone when I tell them I play competitive Pokemon. He's just like me for real. Marty isn't alone in the legion of table tennis enthusiasts, however. We mostly see his relationship with two friends who also dabble in the paddling of balls against a flat surface. These are, excuse me if I butcher this, Bela Kletsky, a Jewish player and a mentor of Marty's who survived the concentration camps and has the numbers to prove it, played by Geza Rohrig. He seems to be checking out of the sport, as an older player who was the world champion in the 30s, his fame even being the reason he had a less horrific time when captured by the Nazis. He wants to use table tennis to perform these days, be an entertainer for cash, alongside the Harlem Globetrotters? I know this is a weird thing to question, but like, damn. I've seen the Harlem Globetrotters, and they're obviously different guys now, but the idea of this tradition going on for so long, it's refreshing to me. And Marty is also accompanied by Wally, a cabbie that is Marty's main training partner, and an occasional plus one to his attempts at loosening people's wallets. Played of course by Tyler the Creator, in the first live action role I've seen him in. The only other performances of him I've got first-hand knowledge of is way back when regular show was in its prime and he and Childish Gambino got their asses kicked by Pops' slam poetry. Regardless, we see a lot of Marty's life and the connections he's made in this time. But these aren't enough. As much as he loves his friends, he wants fame, he wants fortune. He wants to win the world championship in table tennis and refuses to give up until he has proven that he's the best. And that kind of confidence leads you to some dangerous places. Shady deals, scandalous affairs, and all the while racking up notoriety and debt along the way. How is one suave, arrogant, and borderline insane athlete gonna sleaze his way to the top? First of all, Timothy is giving an unreal performance in this movie. Like, this has been a ridiculously good year for cinema, and while this movie is definitely not beating the Oscar bait allegations, it at least has the chops to back itself up. Unlike another Safdie directed movie from this year. I think these two projects side by side prove who is the talented one. But it really does take some good ass directing to make a table tennis seem interesting. And you need a hell of a frontman to deliver that concept. And my god, does he do so. Marty is such a lovable piece of shit. He is a borderline compulsive liar who pays no mind to the problems of everyone surrounding him because of his hyper-focus on achieving his goal of fame and fortune. He causes allies to get fucked over on many occasions, he burns important bridges that could have given him great opportunities in record pace, he makes World War II jokes only 7 years after it happened. I mean, he's literally friends with a guy who survived the concentration camps. But most of all, is that he puts his pride above everything else. There's plenty of moments across the movie where he could have taken the easy way forward, made deals, accepted terms, and done things that serve a greater purpose. But that would bring him down to other people's level. And it would mean he's not doing it all alone. He refuses to let anyone take part in building his career, and at times he unironically reminded me of Walter White, one of the most iconic anti-heroes and villains in any media ever. And I know this sounds like guy who has only seen Boss Baby watching his second movie, but the connection I was making was the same preservation of pride Walt has. The plot of Breaking Bad only happens because Walt refuses to take a deal that would have him working alongside his old friends and business partners that became successful with the company that he co-founded. He resents them for this, and he went through the whole meth fiasco because he doesn't want to give them the satisfaction of helping him. Marty is the same. I mean, most of the time he immediately refuses to make any sort of deal, but then... most of the time he immediately refuses to make any sort of deal, but then after becoming strapped for cash, he ends up doing it anyway in a really fun manner. There's a whole energy throughout the movie as it goes that just works. It's so fast-paced and really earns that runtime. The way we see Marty jump from situation to situation and just lie and bullshit his way out also reminded me a lot of Catch Me If You Can, another great movie from the guy he's going to be fighting for that Best Leading Performance Oscar, Leo DiCaprio. The entire cast is also amazing though. Tyler the Creator is a surprisingly good actor and has really great chemistry with Timothy during their scenes. Plus he's pretty funny. In fact, the whole movie is pretty funny despite how dark it can get. A lot of lines are great and will become immediately iconic, although there's one from the third act that I'm still reeling from. It's also crazy to me that Kevin O'Leary is in this. Like, the Shark Tank guy is giving a very compelling performance considering where he's come from. The score is also magnificent and really helps with keeping the fast pace the movie is going for. It's very loud and present, it works well during the chaos, but also in the quiet moments when we really see Marty be himself through and through. But I really liked his antics with other characters when he wasn't the sole focus. Gwyneth Paltrow has some fun moments, I fucking love Rachel, and when she and Marty were stuck together for a couple scenes, I was having so much fun. They are a delightfully hot mess of a duo when trying to get anything serious done. And honestly, there's just so much going on. It's hard to talk about without just running a scene-by-scene, play-by-play. The bathtub, the dog, the petrol station, the bowling alley. Everything flows so well, and I was really satisfied with the progression of the movie, because it feels like everything Marty does has some sort of consequence that gets answered to later in the movie. Although he kind of opens with the worst thing in the eyes of the law and everyone around him, and got away with that for the most part, which is even funnier. I love how much he plays into being an entertainer, especially when he realizes he's being portrayed a villain to the Japanese public. There's so many themes in this movie of being a performer and an actor, and it feels like Timothy is very much using his character and his story to embody his own acting spirit. He's gonna make it big. He's gonna go along with whatever is thrown his way, and it's gonna get crazy at times. He might make some bad decisions, but it'll be a hell of a ride. And some people are built to be entertainers, but some sure ain't. And if it seems like I'm hardly talking about anything outside of Marty himself, that's kind of the point. The character of Marty Mazza makes the movie. I mean, it's named after him. If he wasn't believable, entertaining, and just a bit lovable while also being a kind of a heinous, deranged lunatic, it just wouldn't work at all. And the character arc we see him go through was something I was hoping for the entire movie, because there's nothing better than an underdog story. And in a way, table tennis was the real underdog. I will say the cinematography wasn't the most interesting thing in the world to me. A lot of one-takes were just extended shots of a character walking into a room to talk to another character, which is fine, but it's nothing too innovative. I'm sure there's plenty of amazing shots I'm not remembering, like the one of Timothy's bent over ass, of course, but it didn't take away from my enjoyment of the movie or anything. I'm not gonna lie, I kinda respect just making a movie based off a guy no one has ever heard of. Well, loosely. He obviously wasn't doing most of this shit in real life, but it's kind of awesome and gave us a great film to discuss. Maybe it's because this is my first script coming back from Christmas, or maybe it's this movie being so Marty focused, but there isn't much more for me to say. You are a white boy, and I'll be seeing you in Oscar season probably. Marty Supreme is a lightning fast and chaotic romp surrounding a lovable scamp who cannot read a room for his life. It features some wonderful performances from actors you'd never expect, and Josh Safdie has proven himself to create some bangers. Big fan, and really glad this year has just been great for movies as a whole. 9.5 out of 10, huge recommend now that it's not trapped in post-Christmas cinemas. And if you don't want to get hunted down by the table tennis mob and beaten to death with paddles, I'd suggest you subscribe. Happy New Year! It's great to be back and hopefully see some new and old faces again. The YouTube algorithm has not made a New Year's resolution to be nicer, so I would highly appreciate it if you subscribed. It costs nothing and you can undo it when you decide you hate me. Only around 0.3% of my audience is subscribed, so join the minority. Be one of the cool kids. I hope you had a wonderful end to your 2025. I had plenty of problems, but the New Year's be crazy like that. In the meantime, take care, have fun, and enjoy January while it lasts. Catch me again soon to talk about Stranger Things probably. Bye.
Dying for his art to